Archival ducks versus Phaseter macrocephalus, giant squid versus sperm whale. This is the story of the ocean's greatest rivalry, a battle playing out more than 3 million times a day in the crushing darkness of the deep sea, between the largest toothed predator on Earth and a creature so elusive it inspired 1,000 years of monster legends. Giant squid versus sperm whale, predator versus prey, and after centuries of speculation, we're only now beginning to see it for ourselves. Let's start with what we're actually talking about. The giant squid, Archival ducks, is a single species found in every ocean on the planet, except the Arctic and Antarctic. Females can reach 13 meters long, roughly 43 feet, and weigh up to 300 kilograms. Males are slightly smaller, topping out around 10 meters. They are silver-colored, deep ocean dwelling, and for most of human history, completely invisible to science. On the other side, the sperm whale, Phaseter macrocephalus, up to 60 feet long, weighing around 57,000 pounds. The largest toothed whale on Earth, the owner of the biggest brain of any animal that has ever lived. Its enormous head is packed with a waxy substance called spermaceti, a biological wonder that helps the whale control its buoyancy during those extreme dives, and a predator capable of diving more than 2,000 meters below the surface, holding its breath for over an hour, hunting in total darkness using a hyper-specialized form of biological sonar. These two animals have been locked in a predator-prey relationship for millions of years, and the evidence of their encounters is written on their bodies. Sperm whales, surface-bearing circular scars, sometimes 4 inches across, stamped into their skin by the giant squid suckers. Those suckers aren't smooth either. They're lined with rings of sharp, serrated chitin, essentially tiny teeth arranged in a circle. When a squid wraps its arms around a whale in desperation, those suckers grip and cut simultaneously. As Dr. Landman at the American Museum of Natural History put it, "We suspect those are the sucker marks left by the giant squid as it clings to the sperm whale, and the two have this ferocious battle together." But here's something most people get wrong about those scars. The skin of the whale grows as the animal grows, which means old scars stretch over time. A mark made by a 2-inch sucker on a young whale might look like it came from a 5-inch sucker on that same whale 20 years later. This simple fact of biology likely fueled centuries of exaggerated estimates. Stories of squids so massive they could drag entire ships beneath the waves. Which brings us to the kraken. The earliest written record comes from King Sverre of Norway in 1180. By 1752, the Norwegian bishop Erik Pontoppidan had cemented the legend in his book The Natural History of Norway, describing a monstrous cephalopod capable of pulling down vessels. Scientists now believe these legends grew from real encounters. Giant squid carcasses washing ashore in Norway and Iceland, their enormous eyes staring blankly at terrified fishermen, would have been more than enough to spark a mythology. That same mythology would later seep into literature, most famously into Herman Melville's Moby Dick, where the white sperm whale became the ultimate symbol of nature's terror, a novel that has arguably done more than any science textbook to fix the sperm whale in the human imagination. And those eyes deserve their own moment here, because they are extraordinary. Giant squid possess the largest eyes in the animal kingdom, up to 10 inches in diameter, the size of a dinner plate, and researchers have figured out why they evolved to be so impossibly large. It's not for finding prey. It's not for finding mates. Those tasks don't require eyes 3 times larger than any other living animals. No, those giant eyes evolved for one specific purpose: detecting sperm whales. Here's how it works. When a sperm whale swims through the deep ocean, it collides with countless tiny bioluminescent organisms, plankton that flash with light on contact. This creates a faint but visible aura of light around and behind the whale, a ghostly glow moving through the darkness. An eye the size of a giant squid's, with a pupil 9 centimeters across, can detect that glow from over 120 meters away at depths below 600 meters. No smaller eye could do it. Evolution built the giant squid's eyes specifically to spot its greatest enemy coming. But here's the cruel irony: the squid can see the whale, it cannot hear it. Sperm whales hunt using powerful echolocation clicks, and giant squid are deaf to them. So the whale announces its presence with sound the squid can't detect, while the squid's only warning system is visual, scanning for that telltale shimmer of disturbed bioluminescence in the abyss. For centuries, we imagined these encounters as epic battles between equals. That image is deeply satisfying, almost mythological in its symmetry, but the evidence tells a different story. This is primarily a predator-prey relationship, and the predator almost always wins. The numbers are staggering. A single adult sperm whale eats up to 1 ton of squid and fish every day. The global sperm whale population, estimated at around 360,000 individuals, collectively consumes an estimated 100 million tons of food per year. That exceeds the entire annual catch of all human fisheries combined, both marine and freshwater. And roughly 1% of the squid a sperm whale eats each day is estimated to be giant squid. Researchers Clyde Roper and Elizabeth Shea, who have spent decades studying cephalopod consumption patterns, calculated a figure that is almost incomprehensible. Over 3.6 million giant squid consumed per day, more than 131 million per year. As one researcher calculated, in the time it takes you to swallow 1 sip of water, 40 sperm whales somewhere in the world have each slurped down a giant squid. 40 encounters, gone in a moment. Incidentally, sperm whales carry another strange reminder of these deep-sea encounters in their guts. Ambergris, a waxy, valuable substance that forms around the indigestible beaks of squid the whale cannot fully digest, sometimes washes ashore and has been prized for centuries in perfumery. It is, in a very literal sense, a trophy of the hunt. Yet, despite all of this, we had never seen a living giant squid in its natural habitat until remarkably recently. The breakthrough came on September 30th, 2004, when Japanese zoologist Tsunemi Kubota and his team captured the first photographs. As Kubota himself said, many people have tried to capture an image of a giant squid alive in its natural habitat, whether researchers or film crews, but they all failed. In 2012, Kubota, alongside Steve O'Shea and Edith Witter, filmed a live giant squid from a submersible off Japan's Bonin Islands. Witter had developed a special camera system called Medusa, which uses red light invisible to deep-sea creatures. Then in June 2019, during NOAA's Journey into Midnight expedition, the Medusa captured the first footage of a giant squid in American waters, about 100 miles southeast of New Orleans. Witter recalled the moment her colleague Nathan Robinson reviewed the footage. His eyes were just about popping out of his head. He didn't even say anything, and I knew immediately he had seen something amazing. And then, in October 2025, a true first. Scientists recorded crystal clear video of a mother sperm whale emerging from the deep with a giant squid in her mouth. The aftermath of the battle caught on camera for the first time. Smithsonian marine biologist Rebecca Helm confirmed the footage. The squid was identified as Architeuthis dux. The whale had won, as sperm whales almost always do. There's a theory that the entire deep-sea existence of the giant squid is itself a product of this rivalry. Over evolutionary time, the squid retreated deeper and deeper to escape predation. And the whales followed, developing ever more powerful echolocation and ever more extreme diving capabilities. Each adaptation by one drove a counter-adaptation by the other. The squid's enormous eyes, the whale's biological sonar, the crushing depths at which they meet, all of it potentially shaped by millions of years of this single relationship. We are still in the earliest days of understanding what happens in the deep ocean. The first live colossal squid, Mesonicoteuthis hamiltoni, the giant squid's heavier, hook-armed Antarctic cousin, was filmed only in 2025. Entire ecosystems exist below the reach of sunlight that we have barely glimpsed. But this much we know. Somewhere right now, more than half a mile below the surface, in water so dark that the only light comes from the bodies of living things, a sperm whale is clicking its way through the void. And somewhere nearby, a giant squid is watching, its dinner plate eyes scanning for the faintest glow of a predator it cannot hear. This encounter has been happening for millions of years, and it will continue long after we stop watching.